Hi everyone, welcome to the stream. I am Kel McDonald. I make comics you can read at kelmcdonald.com.
And I am Alina Pete. I make comics you can read at alinapete.com or at weregeek.com. It has
And
been.
this is new internet for me, so let me know if things are
Heck yeah.
laggy.
So far you're doing real good on my end anyway.
Yeah, so basically the deal is Portland is under the iron fist of Comcast when it comes to internet.
Right.
And they were definitely overcharging me.
For everything.
But Verizon just told me that I qualify for their new internet, which is basically a router isn't actually connected to cable. It's
Okay.
basically got a SIM card in it.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's basically the internet that I have on my phone,
But
but
for your computer.
yeah.
Fascinating.
I'm getting some lag on my Clip Studio Paint.
I'm drawing us as anime Tumblr sexy man today. I don't know why. Just what's happening.
Good.
But still a wolf and a bird. If we were in a shoujo manga, this is us. Just very angsty and broody. You're coming up very
Good. That's how I feel all the time.
good. I would be a little.
Also things I watched
I'm
since
definitely the
I
friendly
feel
one
like it's
here.
been forever since we last talked.
Yeah, it feels like ages. I don't remember what happened last week or the week before that.
Then so basically this is saying I have to close all applications. Maybe that will help the lag.
This is very good. I need to send this one to you. I got bad boy vibes.
Send it over.
It's very good. You've got rival vibes. You're definitely the main character's rival.
I mean, I am full of hate, and that is counter to the power of friendship, so
yeah.
That would check out. So stuff that I watched, I have been watching House of the Dragon.
Good.
Hot D, as the acronym is.
Good.
That's a great acronym for a show.
Hot D.
Regardless of the quality of the show, that's a great acronym for a show. Hot D.
You've been watching that Hot D?
Hot D is lacking Hot D in it.
Really?
Yeah, I haven't seen that many dicks, or at least sexy dicks. I have seen a man's dick get cut off.
Oh, yeah, that's still a Game of Thrones show. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I'm having a hard time connecting to the characters because they keep doing time jumps.
I'd heard that, yeah.
And also, I was describing, when talking to my friend Molly, I described it as no one has any friends. Because in Game of Thrones, Robert and Ned were friends.
Yeah.
And that, like, helps you attach to them.
Yeah.
Whereas everyone all the time has to keep their guard up in House of the Dragon.
Right.
No one can trust anyone else.
Because it's deadly
Um,
decadent Targaryens.
and people that might be plotting to kill all the dragons.
Right. They're like, the dragons are a problem politically. Let's murder them.
Yeah. There's this one YouTuber I like to watch because he has a lot of tinfoil hat theories about Song of Ice and Fire stuff,
Good.
and he is convinced
I know that is your
that
favorite flavor.
he's convinced the Maesters and the Faith of the Seven orchestrated the Dance of the Dragon Civil War, to get, if not all the dragons killed, at least all the Targaryens that could ride dragons killed.
Gotcha.
Because he also thinks that being able to ride dragons is genetic. So he
Where's the
thinks that they
dragon
were
gene?
he has a video explaining how he thinks the dragon gene got passed down.
Good.
And he also thinks
Gene, what makes you good at dragons?
well, see, he says he theorizes that there are two genes. One is a dragon rider gene, and one is a hatching dragon gene.
Oh, you need both.
And it's carried on, and he's like, or it might be like he theorizes that like it might be like a thing that is on the X chromosome. So,
Gotcha.
if you have one, you can ride a dragon. If you have two, you can hatch a dragon. So, basically, he makes like a family tree list, that, is
Of people who
like,
can
okay, so yeah,
hatch
that's
but
him.
not ride, or
Yeah,
ride but not hatch.
theorizing. So that means only the ladies can hatch new dragons.
Right.
Um, then and he says that this is. He says some of his evidence is that during the Dance of the Dragons, there is a part where one side has a shit ton of dragons and not enough people to ride them. And they basically put out a call of like, if you're a bastard and you think that your dad might be a Targaryen prince, or
Come show up and see if you can
then
ride a dragon.
yeah, basically. And they got 3 other dragon riders by doing that.
Huh. Clearly there were some Targaryens out there.
They
Not
get
fucking their
referred to.
sisters.
They got referred to as dragon seeds in the Fire and Blood like history.
Right.
And so yeah, so he went over that he thinks like the reason why they keep not wanting Lady Targaryens on the throne is because they have somehow figured out that only ladies can hatch them.
Right. So they're like,
Because before
she
the
would have
Dance
too
of the
much power.
Dragons, because before the Dance of the Dragons, you get that they dicked over a lady who was supposed to be, like, if you're following the line of succession, should have been in charge.
Right. But she would have been too powerful because she could hatch and ride dragons.
Yes, exactly. Well, it also meant that if she can hatch and ride dragons, then she's gonna give that special X chromosome to all her kids. So that means all her kids are gonna be dragon riders.
Right.
So if they get rid of the ladies with the dragon hatching gene, that increases the amount of Targaryens that cannot ride dragons in his like PowerPoint presentation.
Right.
While that has not necessarily been confirmed or denied in the show, it does seem like he's onto something in the Maesters and the Faith. Or at least the Maesters in the show, maybe not the Faith.
Oh man, this drawing is too good. I need to send it to you.
Yeah. Good.
Sorry, I'm finishing it up and I'm very amused.
Because at least in the show, it seems like that the Maesters are at least they're up to something. Because they
The
keep doing
Maesters
a
are up to
shitty.
something in a Game of Thrones show? Never.
I mean, they're pretty not up to something in the beginning of Game of Thrones.
That's true. I mean, the Maester was just trying to stay alive by going, I'm just an old man, don't look at me.
Yeah, the Maesters that we have
And then he was actually
are,
surprisingly spry.
well, we have several Maesters. There's the Maester that worked for the Starks, and he was basically protect the kids.
Yes.
And then there was, the Maester that worked with Stannis was like,
right.
this witch lady is gonna lead you down a path of ruin.
Yeah.
And then Stannis lit him on fire. So, then we get, a different Maester, like, because in the books, the Maesters are supposed to just be neutral.
Yeah.
They're supposed to have loyalty to the castle, not loyalty
to an individual person. Yeah.
Yeah. So you get, the, that's why it's a quote-unquote shock, at least in the books, that the one in King's Landing is in love with Tywin Lannister.
Right.
And thinks he's the bestest guy in the history of guys.
Which he should not be doing. Don't do that. Okay, this drawing's too funny. I can't look at it anymore.
I like that in the books, at Tywin's funeral, you have, like, his kids being like, Dad kind of sucked.
Yeah. He's kind of the worst.
And then you have, like, political enemies that are, like, getting ready to make their move.
Yeah.
And in the middle of all that, you have Maester guy bawling, crying his eyes out, being like, he was the best man that ever lived.
Yep.
Like,
you're like, whoa. Well, bud.
If someone wanted to argue to me that Parcell was gay and wanted to fuck Tywin, I would be like, I feel like that's just
canon.
Argument.
That's just canon right there.
I mean, he does get found with hookers later, so...
Yeah, I mean, he's bi. He could be bi.
Yeah. But he is in love with Tywin.
Yeah, for sure.
And, so it's supposed to be, like, a surprise that, that Maester is loyal to Tywin and not to the kill. But, yeah, so, but that is, there aren't any dragons for them to murder that they know of. So, Dany should watch out when she gets to Westeros. Maybe the Maesters will, also try to take her out, because we can't have dragon hatching ladies.
Yeah. Be in charge.
Being in charge and having kids that can have, that can ride even more dragons.
That's a problem.
But yeah, man, a lot of these designs are really stupid. Like, intentionally so. The comic I'm doing with Ryan North is about a guy who convinced a lot of people to move to Venezuela with him.
Oh yeah, you were telling me about this guy.
And they all starved to death because he's an idiot.
Right.
So he was like, we'll get our power by lifting a windmill into the sky with kites.
Good. That seems like a thing that could possibly happen.
And then, his other thing is, like, tides moving up and down will, like, move this thing.
I've actually heard about that one, and that is legit. Like, but like...
Oh, not based on the design that this guy has.
Gotcha.
Like, this is a thing that could work in theory, but, not
Not
the
not the
way
way
this
this
guy
is working.
designed it. Like, wind turbines generating power, great.
Yeah. That's a thing. That's a thing that can plausibly
A
happen.
building being held up by kites, though.
Yeah, no, that's not gonna happen. The thing about kites is, if the wind stops blowing, they fall down.
Yes.
I know that just from, being a child and flying them. And also common sense.
Yeah. And so this
Tech guys are so weird. They're like, this is totally a
yeah.
thing that would work, and you're like, it's not though. How did you think that could work? Please explain to me. You're like, no, I'll throw enough money at it and then it'll work. It's like, that's not how physics works.
I mean, that or they're using it as a distraction to
Yes. Yeah.
get their way. Like
Capitalism.
Elon Musk admitted that he doesn't actually care about the hypertunnel. He just
No.
wanted to destroy trains.
Yeah.
He just hates them so
Trains
much.
just offended him personally.
How dare there be easy, affordable travel?
Oh, because then you can't control it and charge people for it. That can't exist.
Well, no, then he might have to get close to poor people and they might touch him.
Gross.
Anyway, so House of the Dragon is a lot of very nice pieces that are ultimately not connecting because we keep time skipping, so there's no consequences for anything that happens.
Which is very unfortunate because.
But it seems to be doing really well, so.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people talking about it. I've kind of got no interest in watching it myself, but I do like hearing secondhand about especially about the conspiracy theories.
All that stuff about them being like, oh, there's gonna be so much non-consensual sex, like, that was clickbait.
Yeah. I think so.
There has so far only been one non-consensual sex scene, and it is not like. The fact that the creator of the show is referring to it as rape shows that he understands consent better than the guys who ran the Game of Thrones show.
Yes.
Because the scene is the new queen. A guard is like, hey, the king wants you to go to his chambers.
Right.
And she's like, oh, okay. And the scene is best described as lie back and think of England. So it is presented as joyless and she doesn't want to be there.
Right.
And she's only there because of duty and obligation and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So, like, if that's what they're referring to as, oh, there's a lot more non-consensual sex because of the time period.
And you're like, well,
like I said, shows that they understand consent better than D&D.
Yes. Yeah, correct.
And also the director for that episode was a lady, so they did a good job of like, oh, this is just uncomfortable. Like there's no sexiness to what's going on here.
You're just like, oh, this is an unfortunate situation.
The lady who directed that episode, like, she's at least making very interesting directorial choices, and the guy that is the showrunner right now is leaving.
Oh, interesting.
Like, he's not staying on for season 2, and I kind of hope that they give it to this lady, because every time I'm like, oh, this scene is very interesting, they do the behind-the-scenes interview thing, and it's always this one lady.
And you're like, just give her the show. This seems great.
Yeah. I might be excited about season 2 if they announce her as the showrunner. Because like the episode that's in is paired with the first time the princess has sex.
Right.
So it is intercutting the two of them, where the queen's joyless lie back and think of Westeros, I'm only here because I have to be, scene is intercut with the princess playfully stealing her guard's helmet and like flirting with him and like
Right. And like
caressing his
just
hair
yeah.
and and then like her pulling him into her bed because it's very much like she's learned that people fuck because it's fun
Right.
and she's gonna do that too.
She's discovering her own power.
Yeah. Um and so it's like that very like kind of cute and playful scene.
Right.
And then at the same time, and right before that there's Matt Smith, her uncle, Matt
Mm.
Smith, um takes her to a brothel, um and is like, because since the princess's mom died in childbirth,
Right.
she has kind of been uninterested in marriage and sex and boys in general because
Right.
she's like, why would you even risk it? That's just fucking awful.
Yep.
So her uncle is like, well, people do it because it's fun. Look at this brothel. And then it's the way the brothel is shot is like very eerie, like it's a little spooky but also titillating, like,
Mm.
so because I guess we're supposed to be in like her POV and it's like
Right. And it's like it's a little
exciting,
forbidden
but
but
yeah,
tantalizing.
yeah, so like I was like, this is super neat to watch.
Mm-hmm.
um and
Because
then
we have
she like
preconceived
goes
notions of
home
what a
and
brothel is, but she's discovering it for the first time.
yeah.
Interesting.
And so yeah, so again, like I kind of want this lady to take over uh Game of Thrones, a House of Hot D.
Hot
I
D.
want her to handle that Hot D. Because so far she's at least like visually doing interesting
Mm.
things, even if I'm not 100% on the writing side. Um
Let's draw some dogs.
uh
Time to ink a dog.
but Matt Smith still hasn't gotten his dick out. We have not seen his Hot D. Um
His sonic screwdriver.
yeah. Uh but so a thing, like as an example of like why the time skips are really weird, um their episode 5 has Matt Smith murder his wife,
Right.
um because she won't fuck him, or he can't get it up around her.
Right. He's just like, this
um
is not working.
so,
Time
so
for some murder.
he finds her like while she's out hunting alone. um the brief moment she's there, she's very badass, like she sasses him and basically he spooks her horse so she falls off of it.
Right.
um and then he bashes her head with a rock, so it looks like she
She
just fell
fell
off
off
her
the
horse
horse.
and hit her head.
Gotcha.
um uh and so wedding happens for the princess. um and Matt Smith's character shows up and is like, hey bro, I'm here for niece's wedding that I wasn't invited to, and I'm gonna like swagger in here and be sassy. And then the cousin of the wife that he murdered
Oh, good. Yep.
is like, she's a really good writer, and you come back and said like the day after she dies, suspicious much. And
Mm-hmm.
like Matt Smith's like sasses that guy, and then the next episode is like a 10-year time jump.
Oh, and you're
So
like, all of
like,
those stakes that you just set up now don't
yeah,
have
like
any
this
bearing.
guy just accused the brother of the king of being a murderer. Like,
That's kind of a big deal.
um, yeah, I guess we're not. And then he's suddenly like nice.
Hmm.
Um, and like cares about his kids.
That's weird. That's
Like
a weird.
he got a new wife, and they have kids, and he likes them. So that's it. Like, we're
That's
not
a
going to
weird
discuss how he murdered his other
narrative
wife.
choice.
And like, it's a real shame, that they're rushing through like the source material so
Yeah.
quickly. Because Matt Smith's wife, or his second wife, I got people in the chat that I've been ignoring accidentally as they're like, how do you think the dragon gene is passed down?
I mean, if it's a single double, it's got to be on the X.
Yeah, you gotta
That's how genetics works.
look up Preston Jacobs on YouTube, and I will link his video on dragon riding genetics. He's got his whole like conspiracy theory corkboard and his tinfoil hat on.
Good.
But yeah, so
it's not a sex-linked thing though, because if males can also hatch dragons, then. But I guess no, they wouldn't be able to. Only females can hatch dragons.
We don't
so,
have
yeah.
any evidence that guys are hatching the dragons, just that they're riding them.
Gotcha.
Because all we have is history book hearsay in the world.
Right.
And every time a dude tries to hatch them, it's stories like the older brother of Daenerys's great-great-granddad drank dragon fire because he thought that would help him hatch a dragon egg, and then that did not go well for him.
No, I think you'd probably die.
Yes. Anyway, so Matt Smith's new wife, her character has had 3 scenes played by 3 different actresses.
Ooh.
And because of the time jump. So the first scene that she has, she's like 10. And then the next scene she has, she's 15. And then the next scene she has, she's 25. So it's a different actress every time playing.
Wow.
But every time, I wish that we got more of her, because she seems like she would have been a cool character to at least hang out with a little bit.
Right, but they're just like jumping all over that. They're like, nope, we gotta keep going. The story's not hers.
She just died in childbirth.
Oh, okay, damn.
And her deal is kind of
was she the kid who was like, why would you have sex? That sounds like a big risk.
No, this is a different kid.
Oh, gotcha.
This is that kid's cousin.
Gotcha.
So
basically, like, she's not wrong.
Well, so the thing is like they did put her. The reason why they put her death scene is, it is very like bittersweet, because she has a baby that does not survive, and realizes that she is bleeding out. And she rides a dragon. So as she is bleeding out, she is like, I want to ride my dragon one last time, and that's how I want to go.
Right.
So she's like just given birth, exhausted, bleeding everywhere, trying to climb the tower where her dragon hangs out, so she can jump on one last time. And I was like, this is a pretty rad way to go.
Yep. You gotta go sometime. That's pretty badass.
And so it kind of seems like her consistent character trait is she just really likes dragons.
Right.
Because her first scene when she's 10 is because her parents are trying to marry her to the new king.
Oh, you told me about this. Yeah, and then she's all like, okay, let's talk about dragons, though.
Yeah, she's like, hey, so you read The Biggest Dragon. What was that like?
Yeah.
and he
Because
tells
he's
her a
like,
little
what
bit
the hell do I
about it.
talk to this 10-year-old about? We have nothing in common. And then
Yeah,
he's like, oh,
and so
dragons.
he does tell her a little bit about riding the biggest dragon.
She's like, rad, good.
And yeah, basically, and then they talk about political marriage or whatever,
Yeah.
like, and it's very awkward because she's very clearly a child that was coached to say a thing.
Yeah, you said even in the scene, he's like, your father told you to say that, didn't he? And she's like, yeah.
Yeah, and then he goes, and what did your mom say to you? And she's like, she said that I wouldn't have to have sex with you until I was 14.
Right.
And it's a very like yikes scene, but like the king is acknowledging that that's yikes.
Yeah.
And then the next scene is her as a teenager, and she goes up to Matt Smith at the wedding where he's accused of being a murderer,
Good, good, good.
and is like, "Hey, so you ride a dragon, right?" uh,
I just think Dragon's real neat. That's all.
Yeah.
Dragon's real
So
cool,
it's
y'all.
kind of like, she's like, tell me how cool your dragon is. And that's not an innuendo. I want to know about the big snaky dragon you have.
Yeah.
And then the next scene is her dying and wanting to ride her dragon. So
One last time.
I was like, I could have used a few extra scenes of her as an adult.
She seems super rad.
Yeah, she seems like a cool lady. And if they weren't rushing through the plot, maybe we would have gotten more scenes with her.
Well, I tell you what show I have been watching a heck ton of is Lord of the Rings, because I'm sure I have said before that this is a definite Lord of the Rings household.
Lord of the Rings nerd.
Yep. Yeah. I enjoy Lord of the Rings. Lane speaks or can write in Quenya, so like that is the level of Lord of the Rings in this household. Whereas I merely read the Silmarillion, once a year.
Your birds are Merry and Pippin.
Yes, our birds are named Merry and Pippin. And boy, they have done some interesting things on that show. So they're not allowed to change anything from the like Tolkien canon, but because this is a period of time where there wasn't really a lot written about it, they've done some really interesting things, sort of in between all this stuff. Like this whole friendship between Durin and Elrond was not. There's nothing about that in the books, but it's very, very compelling. Durin's wife, I love her. She's amazing. The actress that got to play her is fantastic.
I don't know any of these characters except for Elrond.
Gotcha.
Who is this character?
He's a dwarf. He's like gonna be the king of the dwarves, but his father's still king because his father's still alive. But he's not like he's like I'll be king one day. I don't care about being king right now. I got other stuff to deal with. Like hanging out with my elf buddy, doing cool stuff, mining some good rocks. And I was not super big on the casting of Elrond at first, but he has really grown on me.
That's good.
So every scene with them in it is a delight. I love what they're doing with their hobbits. They're like, because this is a long time ago from the Lord of the Rings movies, these are sort of like proto-hobbits. Like they haven't settled down in the Shire yet. So they're much more like fae spirits wandering around in the countryside. They're migratory. So they're going on this like migration route that takes them to different seasonal food sources, and I love that.
Good.
Do love a migratory hobbit. The Hobbit storyline is that a wizard fell out of the, or somebody fell out of the sky. They're just calling him the Stranger right now. And he's got magic powers, which is why I said wizard. But we don't know yet who he is. There's been some hinting that he's kind of Gandalf-y, but I think that might be a red herring. In the original source material, all of the wizards come in pairs, except for Gandalf, who comes last. And they all come by boat. So this whole, like, there's a dude what fell out of the sky thing is completely made up and new.
Okay, so he's not the guy who becomes Sauron. He's
I mean,
definitely not that guy.
maybe? He maybe. We don't know. We don't know who he is at all.
Because isn't Sauron like an angel, like whatever
Yes.
their
Yeah.
world's
Yeah.
equivalent? Yeah.
Yeah. Sort of. So Melkor.
Yeah.
Melkor was the angel who, when they sang the Song of Creation, was like, but I am proud and I will sing my own notes and it will cause discord and strife. And then the main god guy was like, no, sorry, I knew you would do that, and so this is actually all part of my plan. Anyway, y'all created the world. Well done. Get on down there and go check it out. And then, oops. Yeah, so he comes down and the angels are all mad at him. So they're like, let's hunt Melkor to the ends of the earth. Rawr. He's like lurked in the darkness for a long time, creating monsters. We should sort that out because our earth was great and perfect and he's messed it up. And so the hunter god, like, and many others go and hunt this guy down. And he is...
But Sauron is like the apprentice of that guy, right? Or
sort
something.
of, yeah.
Or he just thought that guy was cool, and
Yeah,
like...
it's like a mortal guy's that he's taken and is lurking around. And so at this point, in the story, he should be like fair, like he's got a very beautiful face, mortal face that he's wearing, and he's going around and like whispering in people's ears and just trying to cause discord and as much fighting as he can in and amongst the people. And so far, we don't know where he is or what he's doing. He has not shown up yet. We're just being introduced to the different factions. It's interesting because it was already pitched as sort of the like, what if we kind of Game of Thrones to Tolkien? So there's all these like political factions, and they're kind of all working, maybe not as against each other as in Game of Thrones, because there's no like one throne that they're all fighting over, but certainly they all have their own different motivations and worries and desires. And in the middle of that comes Sauron in a variety of guises, sort of whispering in ears and being like, I don't think you should trust that guy. What about this? Come and listen to me. So like he could be anyone. And there's a bunch of characters that they've introduced that are not part of any of the source material at all. So like the big Aragorn looking guy who's been in all the things is called Halbarad, and we're like, who's that? I don't know. We'll see, I guess. Maybe he's Sauron, maybe he's not. I don't know. Maybe he's the Witch King of Angmar before he becomes all Witch Kingy after getting a ring of power.
Sucks to be him.
Yep. But it is beautifully shot.
I've been hearing, like, everyone agrees that it's beautiful. I've heard some people say that it's kind of boring, but other people are very invested.
Yeah, I mean, I'm riveted, but that's because I like a little chewier story, and I'm more familiar with the source material, so.
And then obviously there's the people that are mad that black people exist.
Oh yeah.
But
oh yes.
I don't care about their opinions.
Well, actually, I like the black elf a lot. One of the big problems with the elf casting in that show is that in Lord of the Rings, because there wasn't a lot of elf characters that got speaking roles, they all kind of, like the background elves all had a very particular look that was like, we all have long hair. Long hair and robes. That's what an elf is. And in this one, they've kind of tried to choose a wider variety of faces. So, like, these soldier elves that they have in the tower don't really look like elves. Like, the one guy looks like the guy that you would get to play a cop on a cop show, except they stuck some pointy ears on him, and I'm like, huh, there's a cop elf. Weird.
There's also, I heard that where the black elf lives is what is gonna become
Mordor.
Sauron's
Yeah.
kingdom. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mordor.
Yeah,
So
he's basically been tasked with watching over the humans that live in that valley who sided with like Sauron and the dark forces earlier on. They became like willing servants of the dark armies. So the elves are camped there to be like, okay, if the dark power starts to rise again, he's probably going to come and try and find his old allies. So we should keep an eye on these humans just in case they seem like they're going to go evil. Which means the humans like really resent the elves being all up in their business. And so he's one of those guys. He like the black elf was part of the elf soldiers being like, we need to watch these humans because maybe they'll go evil.
trying to think. So I just watched a YouTuber I like just posted a video about it. About like race and Tolkien stuff. And he points out that like there are groups of hobbits that are described as having brown skin.
Oh yeah,
so,
in
like,
fact, the
people
Harfoots are described as like being browner of skin.
Yeah, he specifically mentions that, and he goes, and the fact that he uses brown skin to describe those hobbits means that when he describes the Orcai as black skinned, he probably means black like tar, not black as in a human being.
Yep. But yeah, the black elf is actually the one that reads the best as elf because they've gone for a very subtle ear appliance on the actors. But it means that if you're in a scene with some fancily dressed humans and some elves, if it's a wide shot, you really can't tell at a glance who's an elf and who's a human. You're just like,
Yeah.
Unless you see an ear, you can't tell if they're human or elf. Whereas at least the Pete Jackson elves, you could sort of tell at a glance, yeah, that guy looks like an elf. And part of it was because of how they were dressed, but mostly it was because of that, like, well, let's throw a wig on all of them. So they've got this big long wig. They all look very different than one of the humans. It's a look. So there's actually not a lot of elves in this one with long hair. Most of the guy elves have short-ish hair. And only Galadriel really has, like, a considerable
It would make sense
hair.
if they're soldiers to have shorter hair, because despite their elf fanciful powers, they probably gets caught on shit.
It probably does. But like even the king, Gilgalad, he's kind of got long hair, but it's all hidden under his like crown of state. He's got this big laurel wreath thing going on.
His fancy hat.
His fancy hat. What did Chris Eccleston call the Queen's like something idiot hat?
The Parasite in Chief and her idiot hat.
Parasite Chief and her idiot hat. I love that. We last talked before the Queen died. That was a
I got
time.
a guillotine necklace on sale.
You got which?
A guillotine necklace.
Oh, good.
It was on sale because the Queen died.
Yeah, good. No, as a native person, not super huge on the monarchy, me.
The one sad thing about the Queen dying is that old black lady in Haiti will never get to fight her.
I know. The other sad part is now I have to look at Chuck's face on our money.
A couple of leftist YouTubers I like that are in England said, no, it's good that Charles is king now because everyone hates him, so it will be easier to convince people to get rid of the monarchy. That and the other posts I keep seeing about him are people like being, what is wrong with his hands? Because I don't know if you've seen pictures of his hands.
No. What is wrong with his hands?
He has, like, super high blood pressure, so his hands are really swollen.
Oh.
there were people calling him sausage fingers, and Twitter, and yeah, it was kind of like, it wasn't until like Twitter was pointing it out that I was like, oh my gosh, those are really like thick.
I didn't notice those before.
Yeah, like, because I don't pay attention to him.
Nope. Yeah, that was a weird day. That was a very weird day here in old Canada land. I basically I signed onto Twitter that morning, and they were like, "Yo, it looks like Queen's dead or something." Like, there's no confirmed reports, but here's all the things that are going on in the UK. And then native Twitter was all like, "Woo, ding dong, the witch is dead."
Huzzah, yeah.
And non-native Twitter was all like, "Oh, the glorious Queen, blah 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 blah." And I basically was like, "Okay, nothing of import's gonna get said today. I'm just gonna turn this off and go back to writing."
Clearly you need to follow cooler non-native people, because no one that I follow was sad that the Queen died.
No. Oh, I did see a lot of Irish dunking on the Queen, which was fun.
Oh, I loved that there were so many like Star Trek Irish reunification data talking about it, like getting posted. They were like, "We're on track.
We could do this."
Like,
I mean, we're well on track for the Bell riots.
I don't know. I feel like Bell riots might, if they happen, it'll be a couple of years late.
Yeah.
Because they're supposed to happen like next year or the year after.
I think the year after. I think we still got a year or two before the Bell riots.
And it kind of implied that the riots happened because those ghettos got instituted.
Yeah, which I'm like, oh, that's an optimistic level of government care in the U.S. That the government would provide housing for 4 people.
I don't know, because like saying we're gonna put all the poor people in a
ghetto,
dilapidated ghetto where none of them will escape, like, is
that's certainly on the dystopian bingo card.
That is definitely like a, oh, see, it's to help the poor is to get liberals to vote for it, or left of center to vote for it.
Yep.
Thinking they're being compassionate, only to learn that like, so it like goes on for a couple of years and is ignored. Unless, maybe the Bell riots will happen because we still got immigrant kids in cages.
I mean, yeah. That's certainly a thing that is happening right now and is terrible. Fascism. That's a big win today for fascism. Or yesterday, Italy's election. That's exciting.
Yeah.
And by exciting, I mean terrifying. Checking in on some Jewish friends today, and they're like, "That's nope. This is.
That's no good.
This is all of my Jewish alarm bells are going off." Like, yep. That's completely accurate and valid. So, oh boy.
On a different note, other things I watched since we last talked is Tick Tick Boom.
Ooh, how's that?
How do you feel about the musical Rent?
I like it.
Okay.
So that's good, yes?
Yes. So, I feel like Tick Tick Boom, what do you know about it?
Almost nothing.
Okay, so Tick Tick Boom is the musical the guy who made Rent did before Rent.
Gotcha.
And you can definitely see some stuff that like later got repurposed and became Rent. But the stuff that maybe made it not hit as well in the 90s
is real good now?
means that it ages better than Rent. because the criticism I hear of Rent from, in my opinion, people who did not pay attention to the plot, is, oh, these guys should just suck it up. Everyone has to pay rent. Like, oh, you big baby, just be an adult. Or like, stop complaining that your mom cares about you. Like, talk to your mom. And like, a lot of stuff that's like, Benny's the only responsible one in the friend group. And whenever people say that, I rip my hair out. And I'm like, Benny is not telling them, hey, you have to pay rent now.
Yes.
Benny wants them to pay a year's worth of New York rent in 2 days.
Yep, which is not reasonable or possible.
Yeah, like, and I'm like, all these people being like, oh, just grow up and pay your rent. Like, do you have a year's worth of New York rent that you can get in 2 days?
Can you slam down 30 grand right now?
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
And then
this is unreasonable.
He doesn't even want them to pay it.
No,
he just knows that they can't.
Yep.
He wants to blackmail his friends, his former friends, into helping him destroy a tent city.
Yep.
While he cheats on his wife with a 19-year-old junkie.
Oh boy. Good human being.
Benny is the worst person.
Yes.
Anyway, so,
and like deliberately so. Like that is the whole point. If you don't see that, you've missed the point of Rent.
Yeah. So the people who are like, these like, so one of the like more reasonable criticisms is, that Mark is profiting off other people's pain and is uninvolved and not actually helping anyone.
Right.
But a homeless lady calls him out on that in the first act, and then his friends call him out on that in the second act.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
I feel like, okay, but textually, they know that he's doing this. But the whole, like, oh, we don't want to be sellouts, man. Like, the way that they think of being a sellout is a very 90s thing.
Yes.
That we don't really do that way, like that anymore. Because everything's like, oh, you got a hustle culture or whatever.
Yep.
Like, we have traded don't be a sellout for... You gotta grind that hustle.
Where's your side hustle? If you can't make it with just one hustle, get another.
Yeah. So, so those are all the criticisms of Rent from people being uncharitable. Though, except the last one is like, yeah, that kind of ages poorly. And so the guy who made Rent is not gay and had no involvement in the AIDS crisis. He is Mark.
Right. Right.
So Tick Tick Boom is about him writing a play and panicking because he's turning 30 and he hasn't done anything with his life yet.
Oh no, 30. Clearly an old man.
And he's like, and he hasn't, he's to turn 30, he hasn't done anything with his life yet. He feels like time is running out. And while that part of it makes me wish I saw it when I was younger.
Because you're like 30. Sir, shut up. Get a hold of yourself.
But while his panic is silly and feeds into a panic that a lot of 20-somethings have.
Yes.
He did die when he was 35.
Oh, right. So yeah, it was...
His time was almost out.
Yeah.
Like, that meta-knowledge makes it, like,
kind of poignant.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, oddly poignant. It was more he maybe he knew.
Mm-hmm.
But but so the stuff like Mark being an observer and not putting himself out there, like that is one of the conflicts in the play. Like he has a fight with his girlfriend and suddenly she goes, "Oh my god, you're figuring out how to write a song about this." Like um and like she storms out. And then there's a part where he's complaining about his girlfriend because his girlfriend wants him to move to the suburbs with her.
Right, right.
She's been trying to be a dancer, and it's not working out, but she got offered a job teaching dance in a suburb, um, which is still drivable from New York. So it's not like
Oh,
she's
okay.
saying, "Hey, give up all your
Oh,
work
your
here in New
work from
York."
yeah. It's like no, you just have to
It is
commute now. That's
literally
fine.
just not living in the city.
Yeah, you can just commute.
Uh, yeah. So, he's complaining about his girlfriend to, um, his gay friend that he is kind of judgy and disappointed in.
Mm.
Because this is a friend that was the best actor in their high school, um, and he gave up and now has a corporate job in advertising,
Oh no.
um,
Oh
and
no. How
is a
dare.
sellout. Yeah, and there is a great song called "No More," which is about comparing his friend who's a quote unquote sellout's apartment to his. Um, and so whenever they're describing his apartment, um, it's very 90s grunge. And then when it's his buddy's apartment, it's more classical musical.
Oh,
Um,
interesting.
so my favorite line is hello my um I forget what type of floors he says, but he says like whatever type of wood they are. He goes, waxed as a wealthy girl's legs. Like um and he's excited that he has a dishwasher and
Right.
um and so it's very much like main character guy, your apartment is a hellhole. Like
Yeah.
I completely side with your friend that has the corporate job.
Yeah.
Like
You don't need to live like that, sir.
because it's stuff like stepping over sleeping people as you enter your own building,
Yep,
like
good.
uh, um, walking 16 blocks to do laundry in the dead of
Oh
winter,
god, no,
like
thank you.
um,
But that's living that grunge lifestyle though.
um, but so he's complaining about his girlfriend to the gay friend, and um, the gay friend, like, because it's the early 90s, late 80s, so um AIDS is happening.
Yeah.
Uh
Yeah.
and he is all like, so main character is all like complaining about the conflict with his girlfriend, and his gay friend's like, "Oh boo hoo, you have someone who loves you and wants to be with you," and
Who you
like
can be
I
seen
would
with in
kill to,
public.
and he's like,
Yeah.
"I would kill to have that." And then um he's like, "Nothing is stopping you from going out and getting that gay friend." And he goes, "Actually, a lot of things are stopping me. I
Yup.
can't get married.
Yup.
AIDS is going on, and that's a big deal. And also, like, all of my colleagues, well, they say they're okay with it. Like, it's
They're
only because I'm
not.
not shoving it in their face.
Yep.
Like, like, there's a very much like
Check your
line.
privilege, friend, sir.
Yeah, yeah, and then there's a bit where um the I lost my train of thought. But yeah, he finally like confronts his friend about how he's like, but you were such a good actor and you gave up blah blah blah, and the friend is like, I was the best actor in our high school. Every high school's best actor lives in New York City.
Yes. Yeah.
Like I quickly realized that was not good enough.
Yeah.
Like that is being self-aware.
Mhm.
Um
I don't know anybody. Like, the people who are going to get jobs are the people who know somebody.
but he's not even taking that. He's talking about pure talent.
Oh
He
yeah,
like
yeah.
knows he does not have it.
Yep.
Like
It's like being the best artist at your school and then
yeah,
going to art school and you're like, "Oh no. Oh no."
yeah. And then you meet the best artist from every high school.
Yeah, and you're like, "Oh, oh boy, I have some catching up to do."
Um but yeah, so like I can understand why it didn't hit the zeitgeist of the 90s cuz it's not as angry at people being sellouts.
Uh-huh.
But
That is the impetus of the 90s right there.
yeah. But it because of that, it actually oddly I feel like ages better.
Mm.
And it's also interesting that during it, since it's about him writing the play, you get to hear people criticism about him writing. Um,
Interesting.
and one of the criticisms he gets is he is not picking a musical theme, and that makes it harder for people to get on board.
Mm.
Um, so like if you think of Rent, it is very 90s in its music and it's
Yeah.
more grungy.
Yeah.
Um, whereas this musical has, as I mentioned, the song that goes back and forth between grunge for the shitty apartment
Like classical.
and more classical musical stuff. And then there's a great song called Therapy that is kind of a little bit countryish.
Oh, interesting.
Um, uh, and it's kind of like a comedy country song, uh, June Carter esque. So he because it's and the lyrics are like, this is my second favorite song in it. It's like, I feel bad that you feel bad that I feel bad about what you said about what I said. Like it's
Good.
um and so they and that those type of lyrics like slowly get faster and faster as like a kind of country beat to it. Um but yeah, it's fun and it's on Netflix, so
Oh, okay, cool.
since you like Rent, I recommend giving
Checking
it a
that one out.
try. And who knew Andrew Garfield could sing? Um,
Layer is that on? Why did I draw all these dogs on a different layer? It's because I wanted to move them around.
too many dogs.
Oh man, I'm drawing dog teams. I gotta bring my dog drawing game. The book is
All
about dog
dogs.
sleds.
Oh, one of my favorite YouTubers, the Skip Intro guy that I told you does the propaganda
Oh yeah.
um thing. His newest video is about Paw Patrol,
Haha, good. You said you'd been threatening to do that one
and
for a while.
it can be summed up as all dogs go to heaven except for those class traitors in Paw Patrol.
Good. there are many, 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 many reasons I am glad that I decided not to have children, but not having to watch Paw Patrol is one of them. Every time I go over to
Uh,
my sister's house and there was a Paw Patrol marathon on, I'm like, man, how many of these episodes have you seen? She's like, oh, like it haunts my dreams. Like, I find myself humming it.
yeah, he also talks about, like, he's like, okay, it is propaganda, but also it is so bad. Like,
Yeah.
he doesn't usually talk about the quality of the show that he's like talking about
But in
its
this one,
propaganda message,
yeah.
but he's just like, it's mind-numbingly bad. Like,
I I thought I knew what Paw Patrol was about. Like I'm just like, okay, it's just like these dogs. There's problems in the town, and they use their various occupation powers to solve it. So whether they're a fireman or a cop or whatever, the cop one uses his cop powers, the fire one uses his fire powers, and by powers I really mean they have a vehicle that does that thing.
yeah, they can
And then they drive those
Voltron
around.
into.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Uh, But then I got there and they were watching an episode where like the dogs had superpowers now and they were in space and is this Paw Patrol? And my sister's like, yeah, it kind of got weird after season 12 or whatever. I was like, oh, okay, cool, cool. Now it's the Paw Patrol MCU, I guess.
I mean, it takes this show is just a thing to move toys to
Yeah,
children, like, to the next level, because, like, thing that he says is, okay, other kids media, like, there's usually at least, like, a lesson about teamwork or friendship or
yeah.
whatever. Like,
This is
say
just
what you
no.
want about Transformers, there to sell you robot toys,
Yeah,
but at the end of the day, like,
you're
there
learning
are
some lessons
lessons in
about loyalty and
leadership
friendship.
or
Yeah,
whatever. Yeah, the power of friendship and all that. Whereas Paw Patrol, there is never any, like, inner team dynamic conflict,
no.
so they never have to, like, learn to share, or, like,
No, and in fact, they
sometimes
all get
friends
along.
get mad.
They all get
Yeah,
along all the time, and they're all there to help
and
each
he
other out, and it's very, like, cloyingly sweet.
he said, and so he talks about, the fire dog is his favorite because that one is clumsy.
He's
And
got a
that,
character trait.
yeah, that's like the tiniest character trait
I don't
that
know.
makes him stand out
Okay.
compared to the other dogs.
If anyone's in my chat right now, I just took away one of the layers, and I have this, like, Cheshire cat dog face now, and it's amusing me greatly. It's just a real happy dog, but there's no other face to it. Zoom in on it creepily. Cheshire cat dog will steal your soul.
Oh, I started a fan Discord.
Oh yeah?
Because I was talking to Kevin about ways to promote your comics that don't involve social media, because social media is a
Yeah.
hellscape.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Um,
mm-hmm.
and a thing that a lot of indie video games do is a fan Discord.
Interesting.
Uh, so I'm giving that a test out. I'm gonna host watching werewolf movies
Oh, good.
every Saturday at 2 in October.
Nice.
If you would like to join, um, gonna watch American Werewolf in London first.
Oh, I love that one.
Uh,
I mean, it's the
and
classic.
I'm trying to do, like, a spooky one and then a goofier, a lighthearted one.
Good.
So then the second one's gonna be Wolfwalkers.
Oh, good.
And then Brotherhood of the Wolf.
Yep.
And then
My favorite Chairman Kaga werewolf story.
and then Werewolves Within.
Yep.
Um,
You know, the Brotherhood of the Wolf had the guy who played Chairman, well, I guess not Chairman Kaga, but like the Chairman Kaga role in the new chairman, the chairman's cousin, in the American Iron Chef. He was in Brotherhood of the Wolf.
someone in my Twitch is sassing a person in the Discord.
Oh, good.
Because in the intro section, this guy wrote a motherfucking novel. he didn't like the rules that I posted.
Gotcha.
Because he is anti-censorship.
Mm. Well, he doesn't have
And
to be on your Discord.
yeah, that's
He can go somewhere else.
yep.
My Discord, my rules. Oh, I know why I took all the layers off and had like weird Cheshire cat dog. Hang on. There we go. I'm gonna do a
Dry
drop fill on
Otter,
there.
right now in the Discord, you'll see there is a little chat that says movie watch party that has not a hashtag next to it, but a little like volume symbol. So at 2, we will all pop in there. And I'm going to share my screen as it plays on my computer because I do own all the movies that I will be playing. So I don't feel bad about stealing them because I already gave dollars to the people that made them. And I will, Discord has a little deafening icon. So I'm not going to prevent people from talking during the movie, but if you don't want to talk to people during the movie, in Discord, I'm actually going to pull it up on screen. All right, so you see this little headphone icon. If you click that, it deafens the sound that that is everyone talking except for the movie that's playing. So I won't mute anyone unless they're like not even talking about the movie and are having a different conversation or like whatever. So or if they have like a lot of background noise or whatever. So yeah. Conti, who is the mod for the Discord, they are in an anime Discord with me, and that is how we all watch all the animes.
Oh, cool.
So
The infamous
that's how I
anime
know.
Discord.
Yeah, that's
They're
how I
good
know about
anime
the
kids.
horse girls.
Yes, right.
The horse. The horse girls.
Speaking of anime, did you see the drawing of the two of us I did at the start of the stream?
Yes, I did. They're very good.
I love it. I would watch that anime.
It was just on my screen while I was explaining the deafen icon.
Good. Excellent.
Yeah, Dry Otter. It's we're gonna do like I like American Werewolf in London. My favorite is the one that we are ending the month with. When Animals Dream, and not that many people have seen that. So I'm excited to share that with the class.
I haven't seen that one. Huh. I may have to pop in and see.
Yeah. I can invite you to it right now.
Cool.
And I have a special role for people that I worked with on stuff called Collaborator.
Oh, nice.
So you can get access to special things.
I do like to stop, collaborate, and listen.
Okay, so there you go. You may now join.
Thank ya.
You can read my rules.
How dare. Kel, how dare you censor me?
You can't talk about J.K. Rowling. It's no good.
Well, what use are you? I'm leaving. Goodbye.
Yeah.
My favorite author in the world. I can't even get through that sentence. Oh God.
Yeah,
I can't complete that bit. Without gagging a little bit.
In June, I was talking to a friend.
Yep.
Who used to be a very big Harry Potter fan. And because of that, he was bringing up that, so we both really like the Scholomance series.
Yes, which the new book just dropped, and I need to read it.
Yes,
I have
the new
it.
book just dropped. Yeah.
I'm very excited. For those snarky magic teens.
And then the so we were talking about that, and then he brought up like he's like, man, Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling really shit the bed, and was like sort of bemoaning, like that he did really like Harry Potter.
Mm.
Because I guess I try not to be a dick to people about how much I hate Harry Potter.
Yeah.
So he did not know. And I was like, I actually always hated Harry Potter. I never finished it as a kid.
Yeah. I think we've had this discussion before because I was in the
Yeah,
same boat. Like, I had read a lot of YA fiction, and so when that one was recommended to me, I got into it really late, and then I read it, and I was like, this is not, like, it's fun, but it's not the best YA I've ever read,
oh,
and it's far from it, and I don't know why everyone's so excited about this.
Alina, I bounced off it so hard that I didn't even get to Hagrid saying to Harry, "You're a wizard, Harry." Like the like,
You're like,
that's
Dursleys, hate him, hate this writing, leaving, goodbye.
yeah, like well, see, the thing is I didn't read a lot as a kid because I'm dyslexic, so I'm a very slow reader.
Yeah.
So I did not finish The Hobbit as a kid because they
Yes.
took too
No, yeah.
goddamn long having breakfast.
Yep.
I was like, get to the point. What are we even doing here?
Yeah.
Why are you singing about doing the dishes?
Mm-hmm.
Get on with
Where's
it.
the story? Can the story start yet? No, I was the kid who always had a book in hand. I was like, that was my personality as a child because I was very shy and very nervous about
Yeah.
everything. But books were safe, and I could read a book, and it was great. And so I read all of them. To the point where my there was one point during like an English class that our teacher was just like, go pick a book from the library to read in class, and I'm like, because we had this little like in room library, and I'm like, I've read all of them, and she's like, no, you haven't, and I was like, yes I have.
I shared that with my friend for the first time.
Yeah.
That I bounced off Harry Potter so hard that this.
He's
And
like, nope.
then he was
Harry didn't even
like,
know he was a wizard yet.
And he was like, oh, and then it was like, you must be feeling pretty smug right now. And I'm like, I try not to be publicly smug. Like,
yeah.
It's important to people, and obviously it's very easy for me as someone who doesn't give a shit about it to like say fuck this.
Yep.
But
yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, though. No, I remember getting so mad, not really mad, but just to the point when I first read it, because I had just come off of this series of books that was like, it wasn't the Diane Duane's You Think You're a Wizard series, but it was another series rather like that, where it was like, there's these young kids, and they discover that they have cool magic powers, and they go like dimension hopping, and they have all these like crazy over the top wacky adventures with magic, and it's like really big stuff. And then it was Harry Potter, and then people was like, Harry Potter, it's so intriguing and interesting, and I was all like hyped up for it. And then I was like, oh, the only thing interesting about this is that it's in the British school system. I've read books about that before. I'm not particularly like, what's innovative about this? It's just some magic kids.
Yeah. Serious Sailboat is in my chat bringing up a series of unfortunate events. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So the thing is in college I found out audiobooks were a thing, and that is how I did eventually finish The Hobbit, is I got the audiobook. So then what happened was I was like, oh, I'll give Harry Potter another chance, because maybe it was just because of dyslexia that I bounced off. So I got the audiobooks. I made sure to get the English audiobooks because everyone online was saying that they were better than the American
No, because
reader.
you get Stephen Fry's wonderful voice, and I could listen to him read books forever.
Anyway, Harry still never got to Hogwarts.
You were just like, not done.
I gave up when they were on their shopping trip. But I went through all of the Series of Unfortunate Events audiobooks, which if
Yeah.
you haven't listened to those, Tim Curry reads those.
Oh hell,
Um,
I would listen to Tim Curry
yeah.
in a
Um,
heartbeat.
yeah, so highly recommend the Series of Unfortunate Events audiobooks. I really like the Netflix series,
Oh yeah.
Series of Unfortunate Events. It took some implied gays and made them canon.
Good, 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 good,
Um,
good.
because
Like to see it. Very good.
I feel like that's like the difference 10 years and also using Netflix rather than
Yeah. Can make to
uh
a book series.
yeah.
Do you know what series
Um
I bounced off of hard? It was
mhm.
actually Song of Fire and Ice. I went to go read it. I didn't even get up to the Eerie with what's her face. It was just a very, very long slog of not
Mhm.
particularly interesting prose, and I was like, yeah, not my cup of tea.
I think um I didn't read it until the show came out. So
Mm,
I have realized for me that I think um I am more interested in fantasy when it is visual.
right.
Um, I have now that I have listened to audiobooks and have formed opinions about fantasy prose,
Yeah.
I have an extremely short patience for in-world descriptions
Hmm.
of
You're like, where's the
things
story?
like when
Make stuff
it's
happen.
well no, so like an example is I was listening to the audiobook for The Lies of Lacamora.
Mm,
Um and it's a pretty good book until they reveal his girlfriend. And then it kind of gets really stupid really fast.
gotcha.
But I kept getting frustrated because this guy is the protagonist is the one who's the narrator.
Yeah.
Um, so they can't use terms like his room was Spartan
Right.
because that references a thing that doesn't exist in this fantasy world.
Right.
So instead, they're like, "Oh, we went to the palace, and the palace's architect, and because I was posing as an architecture, I made sure to compliment the the columns in the such and such style." And I'm like, I don't know what the such and such style looks like, and you
Right.
just made like wasted words that mean nothing.
Because now I
Like,
don't know.
this
I
is
know there's columns, but I can't picture them.
yeah, I don't know, like, are these decorated? Are these like um because since it's a fantasy world where like magic has like um made their technology happen for them,
Yeah.
so they could have like art deco-y looking stuff for all I know.
Right. Right. And there's no
But
description.
yeah, it's
Even if they said
yeah,
like, I like the
so
carving on the blah style, you're like, okay, well, these are carved. I got it.
yeah. Well, see, for me, I bet even that would frustrate me because,
Mm,
like, are we talking like Roman pillars?
yeah.
Are we talking like carved ivory, like
Right.
elaborately, like thing? So I feel like if I had read A Song of Ice and Fire before the show,
Yeah.
I would have been like, it's okay, I guess. Um,
I mean,
because
the thing is, the thing that got me about it is the prose is very dry.
uh-huh.
He would not have described the columns either,
Yeah.
uh, unless it was in unless it was a thing he was interested in, and then he would go into it in like almost excruciating detail, and you're just like, this is not moving the story along, and I don't know why you're wasting words
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah, no, that would have been my reaction
Yeah. And the
if
problem
I
is he
had
doesn't describe it in a beautiful way either. He just is literally just describing it in like a blow for blow sort of way. And you're like,
yeah.
okay, I don't care. I don't care about this particular pillar because you haven't made it important in the story. If like the main character was looking at it and thinking about, you know, the slaves who had come in to build it in, the previous guy's generation and how whatever
Yeah.
story relevant reason he had for thinking about this column, then maybe I would care about it. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's just very dry. Not a fan of
Um,
that dude's writing style.
and I also think the audiobook narrator is not very good.
That's always a problem.
The uh he does a lot of voices that are fairly goofy. I actually got through Song of Ice and Fire's prose, um, not because uh it was like an amateur audiobook
Oh
reader.
yeah, you
Like
said. Yeah.
yeah, so it's a YouTube that's like so and so reads Game of Thrones, and each
Cool.
video is just a different chapter.
Yeah.
You randomly get bits where his cat shows up to join in,
Good.
and
Beautiful.
that's entertaining. But yeah, so
That's how it should be done. I want random cats
yeah,
in the background, please. It's very adorable.
uh, and so I kind of like I did finish it, and I think uh mostly my takeaway was I like parts of the show better, but
Mm.
mostly because now I can visualize um
What they look like?
what's going on. Yeah,
Ah,
so
cool.
kind of like the show did a lot of the heavy lifting for like what shit looks like for me.
Right.
Um even though I know technically it's wrong in some places. Um
That's cool though.
and
I like that there's like a visual element to it for you. That's cool.
and so the in most of the lore stuff I know from Song of Ice and Fire is because of that guy's tinfoil hat videos, and those are way more like
In depth.
entertaining to me because
Yeah.
he is like obsessing over single lines of dialogue. He has
Good.
a whole like video where he talks about the princess character in Hot D. Um she is
Never not going to be amusing to me.
yeah, she is the cupbearer for her dad.
Mm.
So before the show came out, he's like, okay, here it says she's the cupbearer. And then it says her dad loved her and she was always by his side. But she's his cupbearer, so she has his alcohol. This is like, he's probably an alcoholic. Like, so it's like really digging in. Like, does he really care about his kids, or is he a drunk that needs his wine there all the time? Like,
Is this an unreliable narrator situation? Oh God. Speaking of books that people
well,
go through with a fine-tooth comb,
yeah.
have you heard me rave about how much I love the Locked Tomb series?
Uh, I don't know if it's you in particular, but I know multiple people that really like it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
That
not
is a
everyone's cup of
book I
tea,
did
and
not finish.
I totally understand that. I was
Yeah.
so frustrated the first time I read it. I was like, what even the hell is going on here? Why would you choose to write your book in this like obtuse fashion? I
I
ugh.
don't know if this is true, but someone told me it started as Homestuck fanfic,
I think
and
that was me. I don't know that it started as Homestuck fanfic, but the author was like a huge Homestuck fanfic writer back in the day, like one of the big names in the old Homestuck. And knowing that, I
yeah,
was like, oh, that makes so much about her writing makes so much sense to me now.
that might be why I bounced off.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was not into Homestuck either. I could not get into it.
That's
Uh,
too much reading.
it's it wasn't even too much reading. It was just like, what is happening?
Okay, for
Other than a
me, it's
lot
too
of
much
interesting
reading,
dialogue and
and then they all have typing quirks, and that is hell to read if
oh
you're
yes,
dyslexic.
yes.
Um,
No, it is not a dyslexic friendly comic.
um, anyway, but yeah, the other thing is, I think,
These sled
just
dogs are
I
so
need
happy to
visuals
run.
to sell fantasy to me a lot,
Mm,
of the time, unless it's urban fantasy, because like it's intentionally not, uh like being extra fantastical. It's
yeah,
focusing on
yeah.
yeah.
is
Speaking
my
of which,
sled.
there's been a new October Day book.
Oh, yes.
And I talked about that a little bit in my Discord with someone else who was reading it. Still like that half fairy lady and her sexy Catman husband.
Good, good.
You gotta read it if you haven't yet.
Good. That is one of the Shane McGuire series that I have not picked up yet. I read all of the like Kids in Fairyland ones. They're very good.
Yeah, The Wayward Children.
Yeah.
Yeah, I dig it a lot.
I like that one.
I also like her Encrypted series. I got someone in my Discord to read that for the first time.
Oh, cool. I
because
know
they
very little
liked...
about it, but I heard that Corey was doing a bunch of drawings for it.
Yeah, Corey
at one
did like
point.
there's an online like field guide. Hi Onion Knight.
Oh, hey, Onion.
Onion Knight says hello to both of us.
Hey.
The Corey, so online there's like a field guide for the series, and Corey did all the cryptid drawings.
Cool.
And then what's really good is there's a book that is about how werewolves can't live in Australia because they are an invasive species.
Good. Oh, I did actually have the perspective all right on that. Nice. I was eyeballing the perspective on this cover, and then I double-checked it with my really crappily thrown together 3D model, and that's all matching up. Good to know. Making some progress on this cover.
Onion Knight, you're coming in at the end. It's almost bedtime.
Yeah, we're getting sleepy. Onion Knight, I do have to, I don't know if you're on my stream or not, but I'm going to put up that ridiculous drawing I did of Kel and I.
I'll put it up on my stream.
As anime boys.
Because Onion's in the anime server.
I don't know why that's so funny to me, but I love it.
It's good. Oh, Steam Labs is adding a collab cam thing.
Oh, really?
So we could maybe in the future test this.
Where you can actually see both of our screens. That's cool.
Yeah. I'm pulling it up on my stream because I'm like, I did the first half and the next part needs more reference. So I think I'm done. Okay, collab cam live. This isn't giving me very much information. Learn more about collab cam. So it seems like my new internet held up fairly well.
Nice.
There were a few times where you got a little robot-y, but overall
pretty solid.
Yeah. Right. Easily add a guest to your stream. Live stream with another person is easy. Simply share collab cam link with a guest, and they can hear and see you and your chat while you stream. Co-host teammates while gaming. Invite friends to chat. Blah blah blah.
That's cool. That's a thing that they've been needing for a while.
Co-streaming made easy. You and your friends can both be streaming at the same time, share screens and sources, show off each other's cameras. Add up to 4 guests. So yeah, that looks neat, and
that looks
a
very
thing
cool.
that we should try out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That seems like it would be really good for like drawing challenge stuff.
Yeah. I'm storing the tabs.
I haven't done my other drawing stream with my friend Maggie for ages, but that one's like a drawing challenge thing where like Maggie will come up with stuff and then I'll draw it. But I was thinking about like, wouldn't it be cool if we could get like a couple artists?
If we could do What Even Are Digimon
Hell
on a
yes.
live stream.
Oh my god, I would love that. I love playing that game. Because I don't know Digimon.
Stream for reference, at a drink and draw a couple of years ago, me and my friend Molly
love this game so
described
much.
what Digimon looked like to people who had never seen Digimon before.
So fun.
And they had to draw them based on what they thought.
And you would give like a really, not even, like not purposely vague, like just describe the Digimon, but they're so ridiculous. Like
yeah.
I think you told me the one I drew was like, picture a monkey who's kind of wearing his own skin,
the
like a coat.
The monkey is an Elvis impersonator, but his skin has wrinkles in it, so he's clearly wearing his skin rather than it being his actual skin. I'm gonna pull up the Tumblr Molly and I put
and I was like,
right after we played the game.
Yeah.
Oh,
so it's very fun. I would do that.
This is what Joe thought Agumon looked like, which was he's a baby T-Rex with very big hands. So.
Good.
And then Gabumon is a lizard creature that is wearing a pelt of a white tiger. That said pelt is covering most of his face. He has a unicorn horn that sticks out. So that is what Joe did for Gabumon.
I think I know what Digimon that one's supposed to be.
Yeah, Patamon is, we were like, okay, Patamon is a very simplified looking creature that is fat and might be a pig and might be a dog. The art is so simplified.
Good.
Instead of ears, he has little bat wings.
Good. You know, a little pig dog with bat ears.
Yeah. So that's what Joe drew. Boymon is like a flower creature with a face. And then its hands are big leaves with claws. And then Gomamon is a seal with a mohawk.
Oh, I know the seal with a mohawk.
Yeah.
I don't know that I could draw it based off memory, but...
Tenamon is a robotic bug.
Good. Good.
Weemon is a bird with a big beak, a big parrot beak, and a little, like, feather that swirls.
Good. I know that one because it's the bird one. I only know the bird one.
Gatomon is a cat that stands on its hind legs and has big mitten hands.
Good.
And then it has a little striped tail. So yeah, I posted, here are the actual descriptions. Agumon is a baby T-Rex with giant hands. Gabumon is a lizard/dinosaur on his hind legs wearing a white tiger pelt as a cowl. He has a unicorn horn. Patamon is a fat, cute animal that is a very simplified design. He might be a pig or he might be a dog. He has very tiny feet, and instead of ears, large bat wings he flies with.
Good. Were you the one that came up with the descriptions for these? Because they're good.
Briomon is a bird which has that thing from cartoons where the wings are also hands.
Yes,
so
wing
she
hands.
Has 2 claws on the end of her wings to be fingers. Her head looks like Lisa Simpson's hair, but there's a single curly feather in the middle that sticks up. Her beak is a parrot, so small and rounded. Tentamon is a bug robot. His head is more like a fly's, but his body is round like a ladybug. So there would be spots on a ladybug he has spikes. The first set of limbs end in big claws, and the second set are smaller and have robot hands for fingers. The last set are dinosaur-looking feet that he stands on. Palamon is a plant creature. Her head is bigger than her body, her legs look like small tree trunks, and even in roots. Her arms have large leaves, so they're thin when they connect to the body, but are very large and round. She has claws and vines at the end as fingers. On top of her head are 5 wilted I typed pelts, but really I meant petals, that look like hair, and a thin curly stem thing. She does have a mouth with fangs.
Good.
Gomamon is basically a seal. His head is bigger than his body. He has 2 sets of flippers. The front ones are huge and have 3 claws on each of them. The back ones are tiny. He has a mohawk that might be stylized fire. There is a stripe above and below each eye. He has a triangle that leads to his mohawk. His ears are kind of floppy, like a rabbit or dog ears, but look like they have been swooped back. Gatomon is a cat with giant paws. The front paws have mittens, but the claws poke through the mittens. Gatomon's ears are bigger than average cats and end in tufts like a bobcat. There's a tuft of fur at the end of its striped tail. And then we have other people's Algamons and Gomons based on the description.
Good.
Here's your monkey man.
Oh, we got him.
Or no, these
No.
are Corey's.
Oh, that's a Corey. Yeah, I was like, that doesn't look like my style.
These are Corey's.
That's a good.
I think these might be yours.
I don't recognize those ones.
Maybe I don't
I think
have
those
yours.
are all Corey. You might not have. I know it was kind of like.
And then when we described Gomamon to Tony Cliff, we realized he had seen Digimon because that's too close to being on model.
Oh yeah, yeah. The thing is, when I drew mine, I was
alive.
also trying to draw it with the Digimon style, but like the Digimon style's so weird.
Here is the most terrifying Edamon.
Oh no.
By Makinaru.
Oh no. Oh, I hate it. I love it.
Edamon is an Elvis monkey person wearing sock monkey skin, so while he
Yeah.
has a lean, muscular build under the skin is sagging in wrinkles and is stretched. He has a microphone and sunglasses.
Oh boy.
So,
He's
this
a
is Dylan
mess.
McConus's Patamon.
Oh, that's very. Oh, he's a little pig guy with the wing ears.
Yeah, because I said he could be a piggy, could be a dog.
That's good.
Now my favorite, which is Dylan McConus's Gabumon.
Oh, good. That is a lizard under a tiger skin.
Yeah, with a unicorn.
Literally a lizard.
Yeah. And then Brennan Graham is also a cheater. He also basically knew
what that was.
This Demi-Devimon is too on model. Though actually, maybe Demi-Devimon's too easy to draw because he's a ball with a face and no body. He has big crow feet. He's wearing a Batman type cowl, but instead of Batman pointy ears, he has bat wings that he uses to fly with. There's a skull and crossbones on his forehead. His mouth has fangs. Those are Digimons.
Love them. Love them. Love to see it.
What even are Digimon?
What even are?
And the title for that blog came from Corey drunkenly saying that while doing her Digimon drawings.
Good. What even are
she
Digimon?
Did Myotismon, which is a sexy vampire.
I think I also drew the sexy vampire.
See, this is why I thought these were yours, because I thought you drew the sexy vampire.
I think Corey and I were at the table at the same time. And I think you got Corey's drawings because, you know, Corey you can get a hold of in town. And then I think I didn't send you mine or something.
Paper.
Yeah, I wasn't on the same paper. I was on like a different sketchbook.
Because I'm pretty sure you drew...
I definitely drew both of those same ones that Corey drew.
Yeah.
I remember my sexy vampire was very amusing to me.
And then Wizardbond, I don't even remember. I wish I had written down what I told you Wizardbond looks like, because he just got so many zippers. Yeah, here we go on Corey's drawing. What are Digimon?
Good. All right.
On
Well,
that note, I think
I
we
am
should wrap up.
done for this evening.
Thank you, everyone, for stopping by. And you all have a good night. And we'll be on tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be on tomorrow with
I will be
someone
on-
else as a co-host.
Is it this Friday? Yeah, this Friday. This Friday's Trash Heroes.
Yeah.
Cool. I
All
will
right.
see y'all
Thanks,
soon.
everyone. Bye.
Bye.